Dan, how are you, buddy?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. What day is it? Wednesday? Still a little post NADA. What day of the week is it? 2:01, we are going to get going. So we'll let the attendees flow in and get cracking, man. NADA was great. Did you have fun?
Absolutely. Great time. It's
What was the final attendance? 20,000? It was pretty good.
yeah. I didn't get to
Well,
do the Tesla Hyperloop thing.
I did that 4 times, not just because I liked it, but it was faster to get from our North Hall to the West Hall in a Tesla tunnel than it was to walk the 0.9 miles between the two halls.
Well, I put my feet to work because I wish I knew that. I for some reason I thought it was just like an experience. I actually did not realize it was an efficiency thing.
It was efficient. I think Joe Dallas clocked 22 miles in 3 days in dress shoes. So it was a busy conference.
They were nice dress shoes though. I would have walked 22 miles in those.
That did, dude. Those orange dress shoes were money. And all right, well, let's get cracking, man. Super excited that you and I are here together, and really appreciate the folks coming into the webinar. So we got a half hour of Dan and I chit-chatting, talking a little history, talking hopefully a little bit about the future as well. So I'm going to share my screen here if I do this correctly. And just some basic housekeeping items. So the webinar is recorded. I think you can raise your hand, but ask a question at some point if you'd like. We'll be sending out this recording at the end of the day, and really appreciate, of course, all the customers that have taken the time to take a look at this. So without further ado, introducing myself, I'm Brice Englert, CEO of TradePending, founded in 2014, and super excited to introduce Dan Mayer, CEO of AutoAPR. Most recent addition to the TradePending family, he and his team from AutoAPR, and really today we're gonna talk a lot about AutoAPR, and Dan, his background, how he got to where he is, and why really he's part of the TradePending family. Oh, here's the slide on the housekeeping stuff. There you go. Use the Q&A button if you got any questions, and yep, we are recording. So if you didn't know, TradePending founded in 2014. We've been in the market now just over 8 years with just over 7 years with our core product, Snap, the best trade-in tool in the world. We weren't founded to be the best trade-in tool. We're here to create an opportunity. We're here to help our dealers buy cars. Most of the used inventory they have came from consumers. So we've been able to build a great company, great culture, and add additional products. And now we've really kind of set a whole new chapter. TradePending is a platform company looking for not only great organic products, which we have 3 we sell to dealers. One product, our API, we sell to other vendors. And that platform is now also available for add-on acquisitions, great products like AutoAPR. So that is going to be a wonderful source of inorganic growth for us going forward, and we look forward to many, many integrations. So with that, Dan and I go pretty far back. That's not that one. That one's fine. And Dan, if you could, why don't you just give us a little bit of your origin story? How'd you get to the point of starting AutoAPR?
Sure. Thanks, Brice. So I started out on the retail side, began selling cars, actually, while I was still in college, and as a part-time job. As we all know, there's no such thing as a part-time job in the auto industry. So that was quickly a full-time job while full-time college, and fell in love with the industry. Didn't expect to stay in it. I've always been passionate about cars and the automotive industry. And I saw a lot of opportunity for growth in various different directions. And my original goal was to become a dealer. So I really I started down that journey, moved up to F&I, which was a strong suit of mine, and opened some doors to grow within a couple different organizations in the Southeast. And at one of my last positions with the group, we had a big challenge. We had a big friction point with website engagement and getting converting website opportunities to showroom visits. And it had nothing to do with lack of visitors or lack of leads. In fact, the challenge was the engagement. So that's how I came up with AutoAPR, was simplifying engagement solutions. We began with payment engagement, specifically calculating a payment on a unique piece of inventory. And it sounds super simplistic, and quite frankly, the success of AutoAPR early on was due to simplicity, but also the ability to measure the results. So we are a data-first company. Everything that AutoAPR offers has data expectations and is measured by performance.
What type of store were you at? You were was it Honda store? I can't recall.
So spent a lot of time with Southeast Toyota at a couple Southeast Toyota stores. But actually, when I came up with the idea for AutoAPR, I was at a Mercedes and BMW store. And we were what I like to call a destination location. And we priced really aggressive, had a great website, great online merchandising, and got a lot of leads and a lot of engagement. However, a lot of times those leads and those engagement were based around price. And as we were doing some digging and needs assessment of the customer, it really didn't come down to price, it came down to payment and trade. So as we know that a majority of decisions are made based off of payment and trade, so why not create a better experience for a consumer to calculate a payment, to generate a trade value from the website? So that way, when the dealership becomes involved and starts that conversation, we're building rapport instead of asking questions. And that's really what it came down to, was having that ability to build rapport from a lead gen.
Yep. So you took the jump in 2016 and started developing, the code that is AutoAPR today. Is that right?
We actually started a little earlier than 2016. So the idea was kind of minted in 2014. We did some internal testing. We had a pilot dealer. We also did some direct-to-consumer testing on the program and some other areas. So we really hit the market in 2016. But what we were doing between 2014 and 2016, we actually still do to today, is really evaluate consumer behavior. So since we're a data-first product, it's really important that consumers like the interaction. So one thing that set us apart early on is we never wanted to be a disruptor to the car dealer. I'm a car guy, okay? I love selling cars. I love the dealership. I actually even love the dealership experience, right? When it's right, because the dealership experience can be really good. So I don't want to disrupt that. I want to supplement it and really create a way that it's a better experience, not only for the consumer, but also for the dealer. So within this platform and how we designed it and how we tested and optimized it, what we were optimizing was to maximize form completion of the product, but also maximize the user experience for the dealership, making it easy for dealership personnel to use. So that way it was super effective for everybody.
Yeah. Well, and I want to show the folks, some highlights on that. But I got to tell you, the first time that I was introduced to you, and did you have exposure to TradePending before we partnered? Were you guys a customer at your store?
No, but I followed your journey. Was not a customer at the time, but I heard about, as I was starting AutoAPR and I'm looking at other startups in the space, and I did use your product and felt the philosophy was really similar, right? It was like going back to that user experience, and
totally.
As you and I can both relate to, seeing different third parties that have all these drop downs and all these clicks, and
right.
2016 is about the time when a smartphone is really, really important, right? Using things on a smartphone. So being mobile first. Now mobile first is kind of an old term, but back then it was something that not a lot of people focused on, and TradePending did. So we definitely we paid close attention to you.
Yeah, man. Well, that's good. And I got to tell you, man, when I first was introduced to your solution, I thought back to this chart, which we ran this survey for the first time in January of 2015. And we just asked consumers, hey, if you go to a dealer website, what do you want to do? Right. At the time, we were pretty excited that trade came in number two, because if it didn't, then maybe I started the wrong business. But we were proving, way back in 2015, 2016, that this is true, and we proved it by simple engagement on our website, mobile first, taking leads from here to here 300-400 times. And as soon as I saw your solution, I thought of this top bar, right? What's the number one reason people are there? Looking for cars. How do people buy cars? Based on payment, right? So I think I don't know if you did a survey and knew that you'd be able to drive this much engagement or success, but you really nailed it. And so we partnered in April of 2018. Anyhow, I think it was April of 2018. And just to kind of tee you up, because you got to tell me how you did this. We provision keys to our API partners on a per dealer basis, and we get to see the utilization of our API. Of the 35-ish partners that we've had in our history on API, the top bar was proving out from day one. I think it was first few months. We were looking at the utilization, and it was well into the hundreds, per dealer per month. Lots and lots and lots and lots of action. So that I salute you, and definitely want to be able to see. I mean, how did you do this? So let me see if I can stop sharing here. Maybe you can give me and some of these attendees a little bit of secret sauce, Dan.
Absolutely. I'll give a quick run through. So, and as I'm loading this, you brought up a really important point. Consumers are research. It's all about research. And what I found early on is that consumers were leaving my website to do research, because we didn't, dealers weren't offering the ability to calculate payment. They weren't offering the ability to do an easy trade appraisal, right? So what would happen is that consumer would leave the website, go elsewhere. And that's the worst thing that can happen to a dealer. It's no different than a consumer driving off of your lot and going to somewhere else to do the research. So that's where we've had the most success. And I think that the synergy between AutoAPR and TradePending products is just so perfect, because we are a research tool. And when the consumer is able to do the research from the dealership's website, everybody wins. And that's really the focus. So I'll go ahead and share my screen here and give you a run through of AutoAPR.
Love it.
All right. So one thing I want to mention as well is, Brice, you hit on an important point of being able to see the data kind of from the back end, right? Able to see how much utilization AutoAPR got and your API got. And it's really, part of it is truly organic in the fact that if you look at my call to action here, it says calculate your payment. It's a generic call to action. It's going to get clicks. So what AutoAPR does different than anybody else is what happens after that click, okay? And if you think about it, most call to actions on a dealership's website, you go ahead and click it and boom, you're hit with a form fill, or what we would call a gate. Instantly, you're going to get bounce, okay? Or the other end of the spectrum is maybe there's not a gate at all, or that gate's optional, right? So a customer clicks something, they're allowed to browse, and then they can leave, okay? Or they can provide their information, but it's really, they have that choice. We call that window shopping. What AutoAPR does is we're that middle ground. So imagine that we allow a customer to start the process, get some information, and do that very effectively and quickly. But when it comes to kind of more granular information, we do require a lead, because at the end of the day, there may be some questions on payment, right? There may be quite frankly, there could be some objections on that payment. We want to be able, the dealership team, to be able to reach out and continue to help that customer. And quite frankly, that's part of that experience. It's part of that positive experience. And that's what we do here. So
I feel like, by the way, what a beautiful and clean screen. I went from like a complex environment being the dealer website, all sorts of calls to actions and buttons and things like that. And now I land on just a very clear stated, hey, We're going to use this card to estimate the monthly payments. It's beautifully simple already. Sorry, go ahead. Keep
Exactly. And we make it guided. So very fast. We have a lot of steps that are customizable. So such as incentives, very adjustable, customizable step for incentives. Same thing with service and protection plans, letting your customer know that you do offer extended service agreements, gap coverage, whatever it may be. Another beautiful thing about our system is that these can be turned on and off. Okay, every dealer is going to have a different process. And again, we don't disrupt that process, so you can go ahead and adjust that. And then the simple questions, really, this is in a way, when we look at our calculate your payment app, this is a needs assessment. Think about that, that customer in the showroom with the salesperson. The salesperson is doing that needs assessment and conveys that information to the sales desk or sales manager. Often that information kind of gets dropped off, or maybe it's not completely honest, maybe it's not all there. We are able to do that digitally very, very fast to where the consumer is going to be very forthcoming.
Now, this is my favorite part. I'm joking.
Yeah, you know what this is.
It looks clean. I love it.
So Brice, one thing that we do a little different within AutoAPR when it comes to trade pending, we do allow the customer to enter their own value. And the reason we do this is because the biggest metric for us is form completion. We want to make sure the absolute highest amount of people that click one of our call to actions completes it. So we want, if a customer has a higher trade expectation, let's know what it is.
Grab it. I love that, man. Yeah.
One of the most important needs assessment questions, probably something I forgot to ask on half of my demos when I sold cars, and probably why I didn't sell as many cars as I had hoped, is who's involved in the purchase? Who are you inviting into the showroom? We do ask a couple creditworthiness questions. And when it comes to credit, we allow the customer to either self-enter their credit, or we can go ahead and do a credit lookup here with soft pull technology that does not impact the customer's credit score. And it actually does not require sensitive information such as a social security number, gross income, or anything like that. So actually right here, I'm going to do a soft pull to get this customer's credit score. And this is the payment certificate. So my favorite part of the whole process is the dealer and the consumer are literally on the same page. So this is sent to the dealership CRM. It's clicked through a hyperlink, no need to go through portals. And this is also available on screen for the consumer through a dealer setting, or email only through a dealer setting. We do always email this to the consumer as well. And this is a recap of what the consumer has completed so far. So think about when the dealership gets that lead, they know exactly who this customer is, where they live. We know if they're interested in any incentives. This customer happens to be military, so we can thank them for their service. We know who to invite into the showroom. We have 2 people invite in the showroom. And we also know their credit. So this customer has very good credit. And we also know the trade-in. Now, Brice, back to kind of entering our own value. This customer has an asking price. So right away, we know they're pretty proud of the trade, probably something to touch on to create that appointment. And then the payment details below. So this is another area that makes AutoAPR different from some other solutions that are available out there that are more referred to as digital retailing or a commerce solution. AutoAPR is an engagement solution, is not a commerce solution. And we find that that is very helpful and dealer friendly because we provide a payment range instead of a perfect penny payment. Okay, so what we're also doing through this process is we're managing customer expectations. So sometimes I get a little long-winded. So keep in mind that this part of the process takes the consumer about 40 to 50 seconds on mobile. It's very, very fast. That's why we have such high form completion rate.
What is your form completion rate?
I'm glad you asked. Industry average for us across the franchise auto, north of 30%.
That's fantastic, man. Yeah, and we've been tracking that ourselves and distinguishing ourselves. I think you and I compared notes on this years ago too. It's like the other guys at 5%. I mean, 10%. It's just the dealer benefit, the number of engaged. I mean, this is an unbelievable introduction. Not only to purchase a consumer-owned vehicle, but also obviously to sell that truck.
Absolutely. And what's beautiful starting at that form completion is, Brice, you and I both know that dealers are spending a significant amount of money to get consumers to their website, and they are going to click those hot buttons. I call calculate a payment, value your trade. Those are hot buttons. Okay, those are the most valuable call to actions. So the difference of getting 35% form completion versus the typical 5 to 9%, that's dramatic savings. That's actually a dramatic increase in the total ad budget, the total marketing ROI. So I think that's where our dealers not only see a super high ROI on the product, on the specific product that we're looking at here, but also on their marketing spend, because we're able to de-anonymize so many customers.
Right. And sorry, real quick. What is kind of an average percent of uniques, that you're able to drive through this entire process?
We're seeing as high as 3%. And in fact, what I like to really see is when we combine this with Snap and other trade pending products, it's almost like a compounding effect.
I've seen that in the data, and I think the results, for our customers is really quite clear. Not only trade acquisition, but consumer acquisition, payment expectation. These two products combined is an absolute killer 1-2 punch. Thank you.
I
All right,
agree.
show me more stuff.
Yeah, and Brice, what else is really nice and different about our solution here compared to things that have been typically seen in the market previously is we are able to engage with a customer in various different steps of their journey. Okay, they don't have to enter through one gate. They can really enter anywhere. And what's nice about that is we can take a high funnel customer, maybe somebody that wouldn't typically engage, and move them down funnel. Our goal is always to 3 things: capture a trade, get pre-qualified, and set an appointment. If we can do one of those 3 things, the dealer wins. Those are 3 really important things for not only selling a new unit, but acquiring inventory. So speaking of that, we find a crazy amount of trade-in opportunities within AutoAPR solution.
What percent of your leads ultimately are identifying a trade?
40 to 60%, depending on market. So, and what's impressive about that is more than just a percentage, but it's the sheer volume of leads you get from our engagements, because those call to actions are so prominent that when you get 300-400 leads in a month, and let's just say 40 on the low side, 40% of those have a trade-in, that's a massive opportunity for sourcing inventory, and also knowing how to sell your customer, or quite frankly, if you have limited inventory, knowing which customer is going to be the best deal for you as the dealer.
100%. Well,
so I spoke a moment ago about kind of different entry points, right? So we just went through calculate your payment, which is a very popular call to action on an SRP or VDP. This is a pretty down funnel customer, and we completed that process. Again, takes about 50 seconds, 35% form completion. But let's talk about that customer that maybe is just starting their shopping, or that customer that typically might not engage. We have a shop by payment solution. And this allows the customer to be able to search your inventory based on payment instead of price.
So I love this. And when did you guys introduce this to the market, the Payment Explorer? How long has that been part of you?
Yeah, so Payment Explorer was our second product. So it's been out for a couple of years. And it's been really well utilized. Dealers are able to use it as a landing page to drop off third-party traffic, whether it's from Facebook or Google. Even Google My Business. It works as a banner on the SRP, as a button. So very customizable in terms of the use case for the individual dealer. We do plug in with your inventory feed, so we can select the type of style of vehicle the consumer can. And you're going to see the two programs talk to each other. So everything, it's all one ecosystem. It's very fast, very user-friendly. Has our trade-in that we entered before, has our payoff, decision makers, and then we've already been pre-qualified. I'm going to go and hit continue here. We're looking at 20 to 30 seconds here, extremely fast. We have our recap, which we call our customer certificate, customer details, and then we scroll down. And this customer is actually able to shop your inventory based on payment.
Amazing. Yeah, I love that, man.
And
cut to the chase, you know, totally.
What's beautiful about this part is dealer has the lead, right? We've de-anonymized that high funnel customer. The customer stops here, that's fine, but we're always going to invite them to go further. So they have two options from here. They can go ahead and view details. If they click that, we're going to actually drop them right off on the BDP of this specific vehicle. So, you know, taking a customer to the most valuable part of your website. Or let's say they, you know, this Nissan Rogue, this is the car that they want to come and take a look at, learn more about it in the showroom. They can go ahead and schedule a test drive right from here. Quick, easy, simple way to schedule a test drive. We use Google My Business for your hours of operation. We even give the dealer a lot of adjustability on how to facilitate that demonstration. So that demonstration can be done at the dealership. We'll provide instructions to the customer. If you are doing at-home test drives or at-home deliveries, you can set up a radius and invite your customer to go ahead and enter their address.
Love that, man.
Or if you're offering virtual test drives as well, or virtual demonstrations, we give you the ability to provide instructions on how you'll be facilitating that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to, you know, my experience in selling cars and really, you know, standing out from others and your competitors is, you know, building that rapport, providing, you know, value to the product you're selling, feature, benefit, the whole thing, right? So if we think about that walk around in the showroom, we really want to hit on what's important to that customer. So the best way to find that out is early, right? When that customer is doing their research. So this is our customizable goals step. And this allows you to enter whatever goals will fit the franchise or the type of dealership that you have. You can even customize the images here. So let's just say me as a customer, I'm interested in performance, technology, and I need to make sure it fits in my garage. I'm going to go ahead and book my test drive right here. And boom, it's set. We go ahead and send that to the CRM. You guys are going to be notified of this appointment. Customer is going to be emailed. And then we also invite the customer to add it to their Google, Outlook, or Yahoo calendar straight from the screen. So not only do we set that appointment, but it's really important to make sure that appointment shows up. So I live off my Google Calendar. Brice, you know, we're both busy guys. If it wasn't for that, I'd probably miss half my appointments. So I can go ahead and add this to my Google Calendar right here.
Boom. I love it, man. The whole tech is so simple. The design is fantastic, Dan. Thanks for just, I mean, a short preview of all the things you're capable of doing, no doubt. Let me switch gears here and get back onto my screen if I can. Try to respect folks' calendars. Where did that go? Never mind. Where'd my slides go? Oh, there we go. There it is. Boom. Share screen. Boom. All right. Yeah, I appreciate the demo. And, you know, of course, if folks want to learn more, where do they go? You know, shoot us an email, sales@tradepending.com. We'll always hook you up with a detailed demo. Chances are even Dan or I will join your demo. Can't wait to show you guys more, including all the results. As always, guess what? We've got cool swag. TradePending is super proud of our little Peep Bird. If you ever want the origin story on that, you're going to have to jump onto one of my new employee orientation meetings. But if you want your very own Peep Bird, just go to that link bit.ly/peepbird, and we'll shoot one of these fun little birds your way. So once again, I'm Brice Englert, CEO of TradePending, and I could not be more excited to have Dan as part of our team. Dan, thank you so much for building great tech, being a great dealer, being an innovator. Really, really excited.
Thanks, Brice. We're really pumped to be a part of TradePending and all the future growth and new innovations just around the corner.
We're gonna have fun together. All right. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll look forward to our next webinar.